Welcome to Get Cozy with Josie. I'm your host, Josie Lentner, and this is our first episode. And I'm so excited to be here with one of my good friends and fellow model, Qveen.
What's up, girl?
Girl, I feel like I talked to you so much, and I've been waiting for the time to get you on air talking to you.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, thank you so much for having me, and let's go for the first show. Because I don't think people understand how much I've been trying to get you to talk because of who you are. Like, people, though, seriously, girl, outside of the modeling world, I think, and we talk about this offline all the time, but outside of the modeling world, you are literally just so impactful. And I was just like, people have to hear what it is that you have to say, or what it is that you have to bring, you know what I'm saying? Even if somebody watches it and just like, oh, she enlightened me, or oh, she inspired me. I think a lot of people need to hear your story. So that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that. It's taken me a while to get to a place where I feel comfortable speaking. Mm-hmm. I grew up relatively insecure. I never smiled because my teeth were messed up. I used to have a gap and an underbite. It was crazy.
It's crazy how people use the imperfections of them as messed up, and then other people will look at it and say she's beautiful. Because I would be like, damn, she looks good, but to her, she might feel, I feel the same way about my teeth.
No, first of all, they look nice. They give it. But it's super crazy because I never smiled. And when I look back at pictures of myself, I never smiled in any pictures. I tried to look back, I'm like, I have no pictures smiling. Even when I try to show people, I'm like, I can't even really show you outside of a picture from my orthodontist. But I say all this to say that I was always scared to speak because I felt like people would just come at me right away for how I perceived myself to look. And then as I grew more confidence in myself and also media training from a pageant helped. Right. But now I've gotten to a point where I'm very comfortable with myself.
Right. And we love that. I tell you all the time, even with myself, be unapologetically Black.
Yep.
So you be unapologetically you. So
that's actually what I want to talk to you about.
Oh, Lord.
I mean,
I thought we was getting cozy with Josie.
We are getting cozy, but you know what? I feel I guess taboo subjects should be cozy.
Yeah.
You should be able to have them in a cozy setting.
Of course.
So, and one thing that I really admire about you is the fact that you've been here for so long modeling.
Oh, my God.
Because it's tough out here in Miami as a Black model. As a freelance Black model, I have so much respect for you. Right. Because I remember I was talking to a videographer during Art Basel, and he literally said to me, he was like, Josie, you keep coming at us saying that we don't shoot with Black models, but how many are still here? And there's a lot to say about that. But you've been here, and you never give up.
What's crazy? This September will make about 7, 8 years. So, I have my moments, though. I have my moments where I'm just like, I've been doing this for so long, and I've been seeing girls, and, we know the whole wave of the whole influencer model now. Now you can't just be a model, you have to be an influencer, right?
100%.
So, I think to myself, and I'm like, oh, my God, these girls are only been doing it for about 1 or 2 years, and I've been doing it for almost going on 8 years. Why haven't I got my push? Why haven't I got my start? And it's crazy because literally, I did LA Swim Week last year, and just now I'm starting to get the recognition that I should have gotten, I feel like I should have gotten 7 years ago. Now being 26, about to be 27, it's like, wow. And the age cap for a model is usually 30. Yes. So it's quite scary. I'm going to tell you, it's quite scary, especially as a Black model. It is not easy to deal with.
I feel like things are changing, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a friend that's currently in the process of placement with an agency, and they have her lying about her age. But on the flip side, from what I'm seeing is, at the end of the day, as long as you maintain yourself with the presence of social media, and Black don't crack like that.
Black don't crack. I don't give a damn what y'all say, baby. I feel like I'm 16, baby.
No, because you look good.
I'm still gonna act like I'm gonna be in my 40s, probably acting like I'm in my 25, 26.
Queen,
I'm 26,
every year
baby.
You just get finer.
You know what's crazy? And I have that. No, I have this thing where I'm just like, damn. Every year I get fine. When I was young, because I had a lot of stuff going on when I was growing up. But when I was 16, 17, I was like, damn, I'm okay, whatever. But it was something hit when I turned the age of 24. When I turned 24, I was like, well, shit.
I think it happens when you're 24.
You know what's crazy? I think it happens at 24 and 25. I think 25 is when you get your real body, kind of, sort of. Like, you kind of, like, start feeling into it. But it was, like, it was a shift for me. Like, the years of 24, 25 were the hardest. So, I don't know, 25 for sure.
See, I'm just, like, excited to see where you keep going from here. Because, like I said, you get finer every year. You keep blowing up more and more every year. And you just keep inspiring people. Like, every time I go on social media and I see you talking about anything, and that goes from, like, when I wanted to have you on here, I couldn't even figure out what I wanted to talk to you about. Whether it has to do with relationships in the Black community, whether it has to do with modeling in the Black community, or even the community in general. Whether it has to do with just like even before we came on here, we were talking about like 3 different things that I was like,
literally 3 different things.
Podcast material. So
3 different things.
I think I want to ask you, what do you want to talk about?
I'm such an open book, but as I tell you all the time about being impactful and making sure things are aligned, I would definitely say probably how this industry works, right? Because a lot of people get into this industry, and when I say people, I mean black. A lot of people get into this industry and they think that, you know, it's cotton candy and rainbows, and people don't understand the struggles that we still go through, right? And, you know, me being unapologetically Black, I choose to wear my hair as an afro on the runway. There are some designers that'll go for it, and there are some designers that'll be like, hell no, she not walking for me. But it's more of like a statement piece, because people ask me all the time, well, why do you wear an afro? Why don't you wear your hair straight? Why don't you put weave in? But I've had designers even tell me, Queen, we book you because of your hair.
People really ask you that? Because
yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
that is your look.
I get asked that probably, maybe 10 times a day. Even on social media, like, oh, why the afro and all that stuff. Like, I'll get the dudes, you know, the black guys, the black power guys that be like, yeah, but then I'll get some of the black guys and be like, oh, is that your real hair? Or, oh, is that your, and I'm like, dude, you're black. Do you not know that black women have curly hair? Do you not know that black women, like, what is going on?
I mean, I know that you even told me once that people, like, would see you, see your body, see your hair, and they'd be like, are you even fully black?
Yeah, they would. Oh my God, Josie. Oh my God. Yeah, I get that a lot, and I have people tell me like, oh no, you're not just fully black. You got to be this, or you got to be that, and you got to be that. And I'm just like, no, I'm black. Well, I also, you know, because my dad is Jamaican, and I say that, of course, but my mom's American. I was raised in America. I am black. I am African American. So, you know, and it kind of sucks because you want people to just understand that the black culture is everywhere, and we influence so much, but we are still not getting the recognition that we deserve, and it sucks. And people might say, oh, well, there are black models on the runway, or there are, yeah, but
there's like a solid 5.
There's like 5 that you will continue to see. And when I say this, I mean from a big level. Yeah. I'm not just talking about, okay, you doing Miami Swim Week, or you're doing, you know, New York Fashion Week, and you're doing the smaller shows. I'm talking about consistently being booked, being present. Those women are, it's a handful of us. It's probably about this much.
And even out of like Miami models, it's 2 that are just always booked.
And then you think to yourself, like, okay, this is a hippie, curvy model. This isn't a, you know, a regular model. And, you know, we have certain friends that are skinnier than others. And it's like, we know Miami has a standard, big tits, big booty, period. You know, you get that, you're walking a runway, probably almost every runway. So it's like, where do we fit in? Where could we present ourselves? And it's still a struggle. We get it all the time. Like, we get the disrespect. We get the people that don't know how to do our makeup. We get the people that don't know how to do our hair, or they don't book us because they can't do our hair. And it's, y'all, we go through it. We go through it.
I'm not gonna lie, it's really frustrating because like even with me with hair, it's like, put me in a hairstyle. Like they're just like, you can just, however it is. And that gets frustrating because honestly, like, we know when we have good hair days, the people who like aren't black, they just see it as like, well, that's your hair, and that's just, I guess it looks good.
And it's like, no, I'm having a bad day. And a lot of people, I feel like sometimes they can't style black. And when I say style black, I don't mean like hair-wise and stuff like that. Like, I feel like a lot of designers, they want a black person because they want to be inclusive. They want to show diversity on the runway. But then you'll come to them and you're like, okay, well, you booked me. And then they're putting you in a freaking jumpsuit and y'all wearing swimwear. Like, why am I in a jumpsuit, ma'am? Like, I've had that too.
That has happened to me too.
I had
it's
a
like,
recent,
I call it a pity piece.
Yeah, like the pity piece. It's like, okay, I don't want to give you my best piece because I want to give that to the blonde hair, blue-eyed model that I feel like is perfect. But I'm going to give you something to make me feel as if I'm inclusive. And it's like, that's wrong. Whether you like it or not, yeah, you can say you're being inclusive, but my thing is you're still playing into that political side of it. It's like, I'm just going to include her because this is what the black folk want to see. They want to see her on my runway. No, they want to see her on your runway looking good. 100%. They don't want to see her on your runway with ragdoll clothes. That's not how that works. So, and I had a shoot recently, and I was disappointed. I'm going to be honest with you. I was very disappointed because I was like, I thought we were past that. I was the only black girl front and center. Nobody else. Nobody else. And it disappointed me because I was like, as I was looking in the room, I had my friend there. And, he was with me, and he also saw. And I can tell he saw in my face that I was uneasy about it because I was just like, wow, though this is beautiful, this is a nice setting, it disheartened me because it was like we still have to fight. And I have this thing where I always say be twice as good, right?
100%.
Twice as good. And it's like we cannot be those models that just go out on the runway, could barely walk. And come on now, we know we get that. We've seen the shows.
Girl.
We can't be those models that go out on that runway and just do whatever. We have to be those models that know how to walk, know how to turn, know how to do our own makeup, know how to present ourselves, know how to have a good personality because we have to be twice as good.
It's like we're seen as being like perpetually the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to call myself all the time, I'm like, I'm such an underdog because I come in and people don't pay attention to me and then I walk.
Right.
And it's a different story.
Right.
Or then I get in front of the camera. And it's like a lot of people tell me, they're like, when you get in front of a camera, you switch. And I don't notice it. But I guess people see that switch. And then they're like, oh, now I guess you're worth something.
So let me ask you a question because, with you being obviously of, nationality and, I always say that word wrong, y'all. But with you having that, and then also because your height is what exactly?
I'm 5'6".
So with you having that, how, because they usually want girls that are like 5'11", 6 feet and all that. What is your path like?
Well, I'll tell you this. It was not easy. It's never been easy.
Right.
It's never been easy. But one thing that always sets me apart is that I will go into a casting and I won't draw attention to myself because I already know that if I try to talk to you beforehand, you're just going to look at me as another face. Because the reality is the same things that are going for black models, even though I consider myself black, I'm still in a different category with modeling where it's like, okay, I'm a biracial, or a curly girl. They call us the curlies.
Right.
So with most shows, they're casting one curly-headed girl, or maybe two.
Right.
And then there's also another thing where I call it like hair discrimination. Like sometimes they want like the
It's a thing, y'all. It's a thing.
They want the perfect curls that my hair doesn't do. Like the perfect, like aesthetically ringlet curls. And I like my frizzy, undefined curls.
Right.
And I like
Is it like
crazy
that
big
tight?
hair.
Because, they consider my, I don't like using the word nappy, but they consider my hair more of like that 4C type of hair. So is it like, what do you feel like they mostly look for? Are they looking for like the big hair or they're looking for more of like that settle, wet, wavy type of look?
They're looking for that big hair, but it's like perfectly defined ringlet, I would say 3B, 3Cs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, but that's not every girl,
no, that's
though.
not. And not every mixed girl has that type of hair texture.
Not at all.
Not every light-skinned girl has that type of hair texture. Like, we turn out so different no matter what. So that's one thing, is I already kind of go into rooms, and I'm like, okay. I look around, and I'm like, let's say there's like 6 to 10 of us. I have to walk my ass off and make the best impression. Because my walk is what sets me apart. My walk is how I walk for Natalia.
No,
Becker.
your walk is what sets you apart. I've been in rooms, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. I've been in rooms with girls that are probably like 6'4", and it's like I don't see them, I only see you. And it's because you're able to just capture that audience. Like you're in I promise you, I'm not like kidding. You're just able to just capture. You don't have to do too much. You're not twisting. You're not turning. You're not flapping your hair. You're literally just being you. And it's like, damn, like, you know, this girl has stage presence. She's there. And it's like, you'll have girls that are probably like damn near almost 7 feet tall, and they're not being seen because they're doing too much. But it's, you know, and you do such a good job with, you know, presentation, presenting yourself. And it's just, girl,
no,
you doing it. I ain't gonna lie, you doing it, honey. You doing it. You're doing it.
Like, I remember I walked for, like, Be Fine and Natalia
Oh
Fedner.
my God, Be Fine.
It was my walk.
And we walked for Be Fine together.
We walked for Be Fine together.
Yeah, that one time. Did you walk for them beforehand, before that show? So that was the first time for both of us.
Never. And you know what? I got casted through her virtual submission. And then I pulled up to Strawberry Moon for the casting so that she could see me again.
Wow.
Because I was just like, I know I'm confirmed, but I know how things are in this
Yeah,
industry.
it's, girl.
Things
One minute you
happen.
think you're booked, you will fly in. Those people will tell you, oh, I gave your outfit to someone else. And you're just like, okay, where's the second outfit? No, there is no second outfit.
Well, girl, even when they tell you there is no, you just got to go and go and go.
Yeah.
Because with Natalia Fedner, I got with her through virtual submission as well. I went, I fitted with her up until maybe like Friday. She was like, I'm still fitting. I don't know if I have your piece. Her show was Sunday.
Right. Oh
Saturday, she's like, yeah, I don't have a piece for you, but if you
Okay.
come out, you can sit front row.
She's gonna make it happen.
Because I absolutely, like, you can come sit front row. I can't have you walk, but I'd love to have you there. Then Sunday happens. I'm like, okay, I have a show. I'll try to make it after. She texted me. She's like, come, I have a piece for you. And even to this day, I saw her last Art Basel because she was showcasing at the convention center.
Yeah, she was here.
And she was just like, it's your walk. Like, I love your walk. It sells the piece. With Be Fine, she put me in a big dress
Right.
that was not even, I wouldn't say too big on me, but everyone else was in
Girl,
like a
you killed that
bikini.
dress.
She said, I put you in this because you're going to make the dress move the way I want it to.
You know what's crazy? I love her so much.
She is.
I love her so much because she said the same, well, not the same thing for me, but when I went to her showroom and she was fitting me, and they tried me on 3 different things, right? And she put me on, because, you know, I wore the 2-piece with the bell bottoms and all that.
so
And she
good on
said,
you.
girl, it's your legs.
Yeah.
She was like, it's your legs. You have legs of steel.
Yeah,
and I was
you
just
do.
like, girl, like literally, I will have designers tell me like, Queen, you get booked for your legs. Because I have tattoos. A lot of people don't know that I have tattoos because most of the time when I get booked, you know, I'm wearing 1-pieces.
Yeah.
I look damn good in a 1-piece.
You look damn good in everything. But you know, there are certain bodies, and you have the body for a 1-piece, because you can't put a 1-piece on everyone.
You can't put a 1-piece on everyone. And I actually had a photographer that actually was going to cancel a shoot on me, like probably like 2 months ago, because I had a 1-piece. And he was just like, oh, that's not going to do it. It's not going to look sexy. Never mind.
Well, that
I
just
said,
sounds
then
over-sexualized.
he says, you know what? Just put it on. And I put it on, and he was like, oh my God. And I said, yeah, everybody's body is different. Some people are able to make 1-pieces look sexy. I just happen to be one of those people. So, and I usually don't wear 2-pieces because I have tattoos right here, which I do regret.
And I never, like,
as a model, I highly do not recommend getting tattoos right here because it makes it difficult sometimes. Not all the time. There are some designers that want to work with you, but it can be a challenge.
I mean, it's also tough too, because I know there's like body paint and like body makeup, but it transfers.
You have to understand, if a designer is paying like what for their showrooms and their pieces, if their pieces are like $100 or $200, maybe $1,000, they don't want you guys to be putting makeup on their damn pieces.
No, of course not.
So that's why it's like, I'd rather just find a girl that doesn't have it. So that's where it becomes like a challenge. But I really wish I didn't get this one, but it's okay. I'm gonna get it removed.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Is that something? What made you get that tattoo?
Well, you know, being retarded.
Queen.
Listen, y'all, when I was in college, I used to do random stuff, and
You were young. We were all young.
I was young, and it's more like I can't even.
You just did it.
It's really. I was thinking about Rihanna at the time,
It was
because I'm
for the
like,
plot.
Rihanna's a bad bee, so I want to be a bad bee. She has a tattoo here. I'm gonna get a tattoo here, but I got it because it is, you know, it's my sign. I'm a Virgo, and then it's like 2 flowers. But some of my tattoos do have meaning though. So the ones that I do have, like this one, means it's an anchor, but it's because I wanted stability in my life. Like at that time, I was going through so much, and you know, I got the anchor and all of that, and that was why I wanted that. So, you know.
But you know what's interesting? In spirituality, your left side like is what you want to receive, and your right side is what you want to give. So even you having your anchor on your right side, you want it. That's the energy of giving stability to others.
You know, I used to be such a giver. I stopped giving because, and I'm trying to change that, but I stopped giving because of the fact that I feel like I've given to the wrong people, and I've given a lot of myself. And that's why I tell women, and I tell people all the time, be careful about who you give things to, because sometimes there are people who take so much from you, and it becomes a real, whew. And me at that time, wanting to give and give and give, I got burnt out, girl. I'm completely burnt out.
No, I understand that. I mean, how do you even how do you balance that? I always love asking people that, especially in this industry where as a freelancer, you collaborate because you want growth. You collaborate because you want people to grow. You collaborate because you want to. You just feel like that's going to get you to where you need to be. But then it gets to a point where you're just like so burnt out, and people are asking like, okay, Queen, I want you here, 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 and then you find out that you're not getting paid, but then homegirl over there is getting paid, and then you're just like, when did we discuss payment?
I have this thing where I have to really talk to God for real, because if not, girl, I'm gonna crash out. Like I'm a real, like I tell people, I used to be a real crash out. I would crash out. I'm crashing out. But like because that is true. You'll have people that want you everywhere. You'll have people that, you know, feel as if, oh, you owe them, or you need to do this, you need to do that for free, and you need to show yourself. And I just have moments where, you know, even last year, granted I was doing a lot, but I also took a step back and I was looking into, you know, the spiritual, can't say this word, but I was looking into like very deeply on my relationship with God.
Okay.
Because I thought to myself, like, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to be a model, but how is this, what is my purpose? Because now when I'm wanted everywhere, when I'm doing this, and, you know, we had that conversation about the music videos and things like that. And it's like, when I do these things, is that part of my purpose? Is that what God has for me? And it's like last year I took a whole year to really get closer to God and really strengthen my relationship, because I needed to know what it is that he has for me. And then I found out later that it's being impactful with women, because you can't be this person always walking the runway, showing your behind and all this stuff like that. How does that impact when you think to yourself, when you're out there walking in swimwear, how are you impacting anybody?
The only way that honestly that I can see that it causes impact is by essentially letting other girls that want to do that or want to have a platform know that they can do that because you did it. That's how I look at things. Like everything that I do is to show people that they can do it too. I'm not going to sit there and hold your hand throughout the entire way, but like let that be inspiration that through me achieving my goals and loving myself, it should be a sign that you can do it too. Because I was the same way. Last year, I got really close to God. I went through an entire spiritual journey. I can't wait, because one of my friends who helped me through that is going to be coming on here. I'm going to be chatting with her. I'm so excited for that. But I really got closer to God and myself. And through that, I started to realize like what really brought me joy. And a lot of it came from like uplifting women, uplifting myself, and allowing people to see that and learn and do exactly the same thing. I'm very big on, like, even in, like, my close friends on Instagram, like, I share breathing meditations. I share breathing exercises. I'm like, this is what I'm watching. I'm super into, like, quantum physics and, like, conscious creation. And, like, these are all the things that I am into, and I try to share them with people. And whenever I talk to people and they're like, well, I'm just too burnt out, or I'm just too this, or I'm just too that, I tell them, I'm like, I'm telling you, I thought it was BS. But I meditate almost every day, and it's made the biggest, impact in my life.
Right.
So I just try to share what I do for others. So just to go back to your point, I feel like, yes, there is a vulgarity to being on the runway and like showing your butt and being in the bikini all the time, but you are also like, there are little girls that never see people like that.
There are little girls that, you know, it didn't dawn on me until after LA Swim Week, like LA Fashion Week. Because I feel like I did so much. Like, I used to wear my hair straight and all these things. Like, it didn't dawn on me until after that. And Oh my God, because I went viral after that video. Like, it was on all these different, you know, black.
I saw you on the Shade Room.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, why am I here? Like, but it dawned on me because, oh my God, like I get emotional when I see it because it touched me because I was gonna give up. Like I was really just like at my breaking point. I'm like, you know what, I've tried. I'm done. I'm getting older. I need to, you know, I'm in college right now. I'm getting my master's. I need to focus on other things. And then that happened. And I was like reading the comments and everybody's like, oh my God, beautiful black queen. Oh my God, her crown. Oh my God, this. And oh girl, I was so overwhelmed. Yes. And honestly, thank you to Barry Beachy because they gave me that opportunity. However, it was just, it really took a toll on me because I was like, wow, a lot of women need to see this. Mm-hmm. And I'm low-key getting choked up right now because it's what people need to see because a lot of girls like me, including myself, you know, and I don't know if you know my story, but I grew up in a family situation where my mother was in prison. So there wasn't much hope in my household. And also, you know, being raised majorly by my grandparents and in and out of foster care, it was hard because I'm like, okay, what should I do? Am I just going to be this person that has nothing? Am I going to be just like my mother? Like, girl, that's why in my head I always had to be twice as good because I couldn't fathom being like her or wanting to be twice as good as her or wanting better. Now, I'm not saying throughout those years that I haven't experienced trauma because having that ideology of that, it becomes hard. And you start thinking to yourself like, oh my God, I don't want to be like her. I want to do more. I can't. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of like destroy yourself because in the same time, you're not giving yourself the credit that you've already put in the work. First of all, I tell people all the time, the biggest thing is that you have the idea to change.
That's already changing.
That is already changing. That's the first step.
Yep.
That's the first step. You don't have to be already done. It takes time. God doesn't work overnight. I tell people all the time, like, yeah, it ain't, he worked, but he takes you through this journey, and it's such a beautiful journey. And my journey, even getting closer to him and just understanding who I was, oh my gosh. Like I tell people all the time, you have a conversation with me, you're going to be in for a ride.
But I love every conversation. I love every ride on Queen. I do, because you're honestly like, you're not only just an inspiring person, you're just a beautiful person, like inside and out, to how you like speak to people, to how you uplift. There's not a moment that I have seen where you're not uplifting someone.
Oh, girl.
Like,
I would talk to you for 2 hours until we get it right. I'm like, you good now? You good? Nope, you need a little bit more conversation. Let's go. And
you will, like, in the same way that you will uplift someone, you will also tell someone about themselves.
Oh, girl, don't you know, girl? Now you hold up now. Don't you, girl? Listen, girl, I would set somebody straight. Because the thing is, sometimes we need straightening. Listen, I was, oh my gosh. You know what's crazy? I always say this. I was somewhat good. Like, I have this thing where I don't want to be narcissistic. So I tell people all the time, the Queen was not perfect. I was somewhat good. Yeah. But it took one of my relationships. It took one of my recent past relationships for me to realize, like, you know what? Maybe you should change. Maybe there is something in you that you need to heal. And I actually got into therapy after that, and I learned so much about myself. And I was like, dang, like, okay, this was the biggest. And you would think that the amount of education that I've had, the amount of things that I've had, you would think that those were the things that made me change. But I grew up in church, all this stuff, right? And then it was, he was a man of God and all of that. And he made me realize, like, maybe you should look within yourself deep down. And I was like, oh, wow.
You know what's so funny is that it was like a man that started my spiritual awakening. I swear.
See what I mean? This is why men need to lead. That's why y'all need to lead, because we done ate the apple on the tree, and that's why we effed up now. Lord. Y'all need to go ahead and lead us, because.
No, but in all reality, and like every time I look back, like he was an amazing man. Mm-hmm. And I remember one of the last things he said, ironically, like the night that he like broke up with me, was he was talking to me about something, and I made a joke. I was like, you want to make me better for you? He's like, I want to make you better for yourself.
Ooh.
And I was like, wait.
Girl, where he at? Because he done preached to you.
I don't know, but he didn't come back.
No, but that's fine though. Because what it is that's what I talk about when it comes to the journey, because God will put people in your life to change you.
100%.
Or put you on that path of change.
I will forever be grateful towards him for that, because I remember after, like, we ended things, we caught up maybe like a couple weeks later, a couple weeks later, and I had just like, I was so distraught.
Wow.
Like, after that, I was so distraught. I was crying for like a week straight. I literally physically, and I had been in a relationship for 5 years prior.
Right.
But this, like,
it was just that one.
I felt my heart physically break. It was it was so painful. But when I was with him, he's who kind of like introduced me to breathing exercises and to mindfulness and to meditation and to like Neville Goddard, which is like one of the founding teachers of law of assumption. And after we ended things, I didn't know what to do except those goddamn breathing meditations. And I said, you know what? He's not here, but I'm just going to implement every single thing that he taught me, because I looked within myself and I was like, although he said that like I'm perfect and that he's just not in a place, I'm a fixer. So
So you Olivia Pope.
I was like, no, there's something that I have to fix. There's no way that there's nothing that I can't fix. So I was like, I'm just going to make myself better, because when I do attract a partner that is that amazing, I'll be able to maintain them.
What is maintain?
You know,
because can you really maintain men?
No, you can't. You can't at all. You can't maintain anyone. Like, not even like women. But I feel like
women are crazy.
But I feel like certain men, especially like men who are very emotionally intelligent, men who are very spiritually aware, men who have done a lot of work on themselves, I don't blame them for the second they see something to be just a bit too much when they're trying to find their partner, that they can just say, you know what, I'm not saying this isn't for me ever, but this isn't for me right now.
Those are the men that they're able to realize and analyze that, okay, maybe this person needs a little bit more work. Maybe this person needs a little bit more guidance. And I'm not saying this person is a perfect man. I'm not even saying the person that I'm talking about is a perfect man, because he sure ain't. But it's just,
no one's perfect.
No one is perfect, girl. I ain't even perfect. I didn't curse about 2-3 times, but I'll open my Bible after I do it.
So it's like, when I revisit that situation, I look back, there are some things that pissed me off, because I'm like, but for what we're talking about, no, he definitely opened my mind.
The most important part was that he gave you what you needed. He gave you that wake. And that's why, you know, I look, because we have to get to a point of forgiveness, right?
100%.
And I look within myself and I say, you know what? Though this wasn't something that I wanted to be in, though it wasn't how I wanted it to end, I have to forgive you, but also to thank you, because you put me on the path that I needed to be on. And I'm not saying that this person is responsible for my whole life changing. No, that ain't nobody responsible for that but the Lord. But I'm saying you helped with that transition and turning me back where I needed to go.
Exactly.
So with that being said, that's why I'm always somebody that says, you know what? Another one, thank you. That's like my favorite meme, but
another one, thank you. We said
another
it right
one,
before.
thank you. Because I'm pretty sure my next will be my last. And I hope so. And like I told you earlier, I'm like, Josie's getting married. Josie's getting married, y'all. Josie is getting married. She's a great person. You are a wife. You are someone's queen. You are. Look how beautiful you is sitting up here like, girl, what? You are somebody's queen. I'm so serious. You're somebody's wife. Don't think otherwise.
I am too. I think I definitely am going to find my person, whoever that is.
Girl, he down.
I know. Either, you know, I wrote down today, I woke up and I started journaling, and I was writing about my higher self. Because that was one thing that I realized. I was like, okay, I'm there, but I need to get a little bit more just to achieve everything that I want. Not even counting a relationship.
Right.
To be the woman that I want and to have the businesses that I want, to have the nervous system regulation that I want, there are things that I need to do to be able to maintain all of these things and a relationship. Because they always say you can't have it all, but you can. You just have to be able to regulate yourself well enough and organize yourself well enough to be able to maintain all of it at the same
Where
time.
do you see Josie in 5 years?
Oh, where do I see Josie in 5 years? When did this turn into a me interview?
No, it's because you intrigue me so much. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself, I don't want to say married as the first thing, but I do see myself in a solid, committed relationship. I also see myself, hopefully married, but I see myself having time freedom because I've been able to build up enough businesses within my brand. Yeah, within my brand that I am able to run everything simultaneously while have the flexibility to devote to passions and spending time with family and friends. At the end of the day, I'm a woman. And I want to have a family. That's the one thing.
Right.
Everything that I do in this life is to build my own family because that's the one thing I've always wanted.
Right.
And because growing up, it was always just me and my mom. I grew up in a semi-abusive household. My brother was not the best with our mom. And then...
You know, maybe that's something that we have in common. We share that about our siblings because my sister, she's the same way.
And it's
But
hard.
she has mental illness, so it's,
There's mental illness in my family. So, like, I've had to deal with, like, a family member very close to home and being Baker acted or having having an episode, and my mom who doesn't believe in mental illness, and then the rest of my family that does, and then I'm the mediator. So I've always had to be in between. And then I've had to deal with, like, my family just being like, well, your mom is your mom. And then I want my family so much, like my aunts and my cousins, that I'm stuck in between. And I got to a point where I wouldn't be picking my mom because I wanted this sense of family. Because, like, at the end, like, I love my mom to death, but there are a lot of things that I couldn't always depend on her for. But I'm grateful for what I can. I can depend on my mom for affection. I can depend on my mom for support. I can depend on my mom for, like, a warm meal. And that goes further to me because that is true love than anything else.
So let me ask you a relationship question, right? So would you prefer a man with a good family dynamic or a man who's somewhat, like, he's not really big on family, but, you know, family is, like, a thing, but it's not, like, at the forefront? What would you prefer? With your experiences and what you've been through, what would you prefer?
Honestly, I'm going to counter that with saying that I want a man that will choose me over everything else. Because at the end of the day, if we're together, I'm your family. So and I think that plays into a role of, like, having a good family dynamic. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not an argumentative person. So
not at all.
If something's going on, and, like, I've seen this happen with families and relationships where the family goes against the spouse, I would hope that you would pick me because I do not think that
Well, he's supposed to pick you.
Exactly.
Because once you're married, it's no longer his mother, it's you. It's no longer his family, it's you. So it's
and
like...
the family that we build.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up with my dad in my life, so the biggest thing I look for is someone who's going to be a good father.
Maybe that's another connection that, because girl, I knew I liked you. It was something, maybe it's a trauma bond. I don't know, but
it might be because
it's here. It's right there. But
right here.
Same. I grew up without my father in my life, but I had a father figure. I don't want to dismiss it. I had a father figure because of my grandfather.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But I tell people all the time, it's different because it's not your biological father.
It's very different.
So there's only so much that a grandfather or someone who's not your father is willing to give a child that is not theirs.
Yes, and that's very true because men operate very differently from women.
They do.
It's very hard for men to be completely selfless with a child that's not theirs. Even if it's like a generation.
Yeah, of course they're not going to abuse the child. They're going to be there. Like, it's not going to be nothing crazy, but I tell people all the time that, oh, girl, and I just saw something earlier where the person was still choosing to have a child with someone that said they didn't want a child. And it touched me because my mom, you know, she's had conversations with me about what happened between her and my father and stuff like that. And you know what's crazy? It wasn't even an argument when I told my mom this. It was something that, you know, it just registered me after therapy and everything. And I told my mom, I said, if he told you he didn't want me, you should have listened. And I guess she took that as like, is this a suicide attempt? And it wasn't. because I had to break it down from outside of myself. Though I've had a great life, I've had
and I think you're also here. You have had such an impact, so you're here.
I'm here for a reason. But I also thought to myself, I'm like, damn, like, okay, if a man tells you he didn't want this child because of whatever circumstance that is, and you still choose to have the child, don't you think that puts more stress on the child?
No, it definitely does, 100%. Okay. Because even like with me, like my mom divorced her first husband and then got with my dad shortly after. And I grew up always just hearing she should have never divorced him. Even my mom saying I should have never divorced him. And then her saying like, I mean, you would have still been born, but would I have? You know what I mean?
See, that's when you got to get deep.
Get really deep. It gets deep. And like for me, like children are so special. Children are just pure beings. And I have always wanted children. I want to have children so much to the point that if I do not get married, I'm going to adopt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even if I did get married and my husband's okay with it, I would have biological children and adopt.
Children are so sensitive to me because I understand how I felt as a child. Yeah. And I understand how at times where I felt lonely, at times where I felt empty. So it's like I think to myself, like, okay, like if I see a child like, hey, how are you feeling, Timmy? Everything okay? Like I have like those conversations. I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Out. Like I have like those mental health conversations. Like I was even thinking about writing a children's book.
You should.
But mostly for, teenagers, for women. But I was thinking about it because, like I told you, mental health plays a huge role in my family, even with myself. So, and I started last year off in depression because a lot of people didn't know that prior to that, I was homeless. And it was like a turn for me because, granted, I've had nice jobs, I've had the nice cars, I had the Mercedes, I had all of this, and I lost it. So, I got the degrees because a lot of people, and like I told you earlier, twice as good, right? Mm-hmm. So I was doing so much. And then it was like God had that way of humbling me because I wasn't humble. So it's like, okay, no, I'm going to take you from being here, place you here, and put you on this journey here. And ever since then, I've always thought back to myself like, okay, and that goes back to what we said earlier about being impactful. What are you bringing? What are you teaching someone?
Qveen, how do you... Because there's not a lot of people who can do this. How do you look at every single situation of your life and pivot it to something positive?
Girl, I've had several pivots.
Listen,
when I tell people all the time, Qveen is the pivoting queen. Because
I love that.
Baby, I know how to pivot.
And you pivot on the runway.
And you know what's crazy? People will see that, like, how did you go from that and did that? Because there was a time where I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car. And I was working at Planet Fitness, so I got a job at Planet Fitness just so I can take showers.
You know what's so funny? Is that I'm the queen of like, dang, Josie, like I didn't know you were going through that. Yeah. Tell me why yesterday I took a hot shower in my home for the first time in like almost 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, we didn't have hot water for almost 3 years.
Girl, what? How? Was it the water heater?
It broke. We couldn't afford to fix it.
Period.
And then it
because you're going to get it done, baby. You better boil some water. You better put that little soap on there.
A bucket and a kettle and going to the gym and like, oh my God, anytime. And I remember that the guy I was dating, when I would go to this place, if I didn't have time, like obviously I would still shower at home, but if I didn't have time or like I was just too mentally exhausted or I just couldn't like withstand it, I would just be like, oh, I didn't have time, can I shower at your place? And I don't think he understood because he didn't know.
No one ever understands.
Like even just being able to take a shower at his place meant to me.
Oh my God, girl, I'm not trying to cry on this podcast. You want to know what's crazy? My first shower after being homeless, I cried because, my God, I cried because I realized the inconvenience of not having a shower. And this is why I say going back to being, humbled. And there were times, Josie, and this might be TMI, but there were times where, granted, I could have went to Planet Fitness. It's probably a holiday. They close early. I get off work at this time. There were times where, I might have been at a friend's house or a friend's studio and I had to take showers in the sink. Now imagine being on your cycle. Girl. And you have to take a shower in the sink. And that did something for me. Like I literally looked in the mirror and I said, I would never put myself through this situation again. I cannot go through this situation again. Even when I took my first shower, it was amazing to me. I cried. I had PTSD for a while. But let me tell you something, right? I said to myself when I got into my new place, I was like, I don't want to lose sight of what it is that God is teaching me, the lesson that he's teaching me. So even when I got my new place, you want to know what I decided to do? It was fully furnished. But I made the decision to take the bed out. I took my bed out and I bought an air mattress. And I said, until I earned or deserve to put a bed in here, I'm going to sleep on this air mattress. And that helps me to go twice as hard. Because now I feel like I have to earn it. I have to earn being in this position of luxury. And it did something to me, and it does something to me mentally, because I wake up every day and I think to myself, I have to be twice as good. I have to want more for myself. I have to build generational wealth. I have to get my relationship closer with God. I have to earn it. So girl, I slept on that uncomfortable air mattress because I want to be in a position where I say, you know what? Regardless of what I went through, I earned it. And that meant a lot to me. Even after being homeless, even after fully furnished, all this stuff, I still wanted to live like that because I felt like it was a lesson that I was learning within myself about it. So I tell people all the time, you want to learn something, you want to put yourself, because the thing is, you grow in being uncomfortable. You have to make yourself uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, that's when you make the decision for change. 100%.
Tell me if you went through this, because I kind of feel that we've both kind of been a little uncomfortable for most of our lives.
Oh, yes.
That like, it's almost like discomfort became normal. It became comfort in a way. But then you get to a point where you're just at ease in that discomfort, and you kind of just you keep coasting. It's kind of crazy how it's like you have to go through something to kind of be like, wait, no, I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I need to get out of this.
Yeah.
I need to complete, and it makes you so much more grateful for every single thing that you have.
For every single thing. Josie, it will be the littlest thing. It will be a friend giving me a call saying, hey, how was your day? And I will be grateful for it. It'll be a friend saying, hey, I want to come with you to do this content. Hey, I want to do this. And it's like, I'm grateful for it because I remember a time where I didn't have anybody. So it's a reminder to me to always be grateful for what it is that you have. I'm not saying that there's not going to be frustration. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but I'm saying at the same time, it's a reminder of being grateful for something. So
I'm telling you, when I took that shower, I was laughing. I was laughing. I was like, I'm
we got hot water.
I was like, I'm so grateful. I get to do this. I'm living my dream. I'm a manifester. So I went straight into like.
I was about to ask you earlier, do you manifest? Because you remind me of a person that manifests a lot. Because you manifest a lot of stuff that's happening in your life. You have so much going on for you right now.
I am a conscious creator.
I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited for this. I'm super excited for the podcast because I know it's going to be impactful, and I know you're going to bring the right guests, the right people.
The right people. Because
I know that because you brought me first.
Yes, oh my God, I'm so excited.
But I know that this is a journey that God has prepared for you to be impactful, and I know that. That's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited for what you're about to do.
You know, one thing that I realized was like, not a skill, but just something about me that I have no problem being vulnerable. And I learned that my vulnerability is how I tap in with people. And that's what makes people relate to me. Because I've been told the craziest things. It's like people look at me and they're like, what struggle? She's always so happy. I've been told before.
You are.
And I attribute that to my mom because my mom's a super happy person. Yeah. It doesn't matter what she's going through. It's like she will get stressed and crash out here and there. But no matter what she's going through, every morning, good morning, sunshine. Right. Da, 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 like complaining. I'm the grump around her. Oh, which is crazy. But so I just am so big on like my vulnerability because I've learned that like I do everything with love. And
you do. Oh my gosh, you really do. You really do.
But in order to be an embodiment of love, you have to be vulnerable. Because I've been told you don't look like you have any problems. I look at you on social media. I've been told.
I hate social.
Girl,
oh my gosh.
No, another one is I've been told, Josie, you look like you come from a 2-parent household with 2 parents that loved each other for 30 years.
The whole time they have no idea.
No, I'm like, growing up, I'm like, I think the longest I went with no electricity was maybe like 4 or 5 days. And that was like normal. It's just like, Mom,
Child, we
the
had no
electricity cut out
electricity.
again. And she's
We
just
was
like,
hot.
oh.
We had to open the windows.
Like, yes.
And still had to go to work at 6 a.m. in the
AC
morning.
not working. AC break. 3 weeks with no AC in the middle of the summer.
No gas.
Yup.
Girl, listen, I got a little trick. Listen, I tell people all the time, don't come for me, Banks. Don't come for me. So I got this thing when you ain't got no gas money, right? Tell somebody to send you $1. But you got to have a bank card. Tell somebody to send you $1 damn. Put that dollar on your card. Go to a gas station. Don't go inside.
Yeah.
Go to the pump. Put the thing in. It's going to ask you for the PIN number. Don't put the PIN number. Put it credit. And then you're going to fill your gas tank up, and you're going to do what you got to do. Girl, I used to do DoorDash. Fill my little gas tank up, get my little money, and then,
I never knew that.
See, look, teaching
never
people.
knew that.
The
Girl,
struggle is real, y'all. I done been through it. Girl, I done been through it.
I was the queen of figuring out where to get money from, because it would be situations where it was just me and my mom. So it's like, my mom would be like, well, I need this, I need that. Can you ask this for, and I'm like, no, because no one's going to help us. So it's like, okay, well, we can loan money from here, and you can do that, and we can get food from here, and we can do this. And there are a lot of things I'm grateful for. Like, even through whatever I've gone through, I'm still not as worse off as, like, a lot of other people. And that's something that I've, like, because at the end of the day, I had a lot of love. And I think that's why I'm able to do everything with love, because nothing else really matters.
Well, you talked about being vulnerable, and I agree with your message about being vulnerable, but I feel like people learn from people when they're being honest and vulnerable about who they are, because somebody can easily go on social media and be like, she has it all together, she's this, she's that. And I tell people all the time, be careful about what you see on social media, because what you see might not be the reality. So I always tell people, like, the big butts that y'all see, the big titties and all that stuff like that, girl, you see that chick in person, she don't even look half of what you see on the internet. So
100%.
I tell people all the time, be careful about who you idolize, because first of all, idolizing anybody is a problem.
Yes.
You shouldn't be idolizing no one. You shouldn't idolize a situation, a relationship, nothing, because what you think you might want might be completely different. But going back to being vulnerable, a lot of people have to learn from that. A lot of people have to grow in that, and you have to be vulnerable, because being vulnerable, sharing your story, girl, I've had people say, Queen, you've changed my life because you told me this. Like, you just said just now, you didn't even know about the little gas pump. Now, when you go through a little something, you might know how to do your little gas. So I tell people all the time, I'm going to be honest with you, because I would never like to be fake, because I feel like when you're fake with somebody, you don't realize how much you're hindering them. And you have to be real with people. And that's, girl, that's my motto. I'm finna be real. If you're not willing to have constructive criticism, if you're not willing to be real with me, then maybe I shouldn't be in your life. I'm one of those people, you don't need to have me in your life if you're not willing to reflect on yourself.
I think that's important. Like, there's a lot of people who won't do that. That's honestly something where I'm trying to come to terms with right now, is just understanding that, like, I can give and I can give and I can give. But if someone's not ready to receive, at the end of the day, the more you become conscious, people are going to fall off that don't align with your consciousness. And it's sad, because it's like, I don't want that to happen. But I also cannot continue to diminish myself and fight for those who don't really want to be around.
Right. Well, like I said, girl, I'm super excited for you. I'm so excited for you.
I'm so excited for you. Like, what do you...
Listen, I know it's going to be a lot. I know it's going to be a lot. That's why I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever it is that is coming your way, because I know it's going to be a lot. Y'all, please support this beautiful young lady, y'all. Please.
Please support this beautiful young lady. I honestly feel like, don't get me wrong, I know people who have had very, like, structured, really good upbringings that go 10 times hard.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, there's just something where it's like, when you know that if I look around, it's just going to be me at the end of the day, I have to go a million times harder.
Right.
And I think, like, a lot of times people are like, well, how do you do it? Well, because at the end of the day, I have so much going on in my personal life, I don't want to fall into a depression or into a slump or into because, like, I don't do it. I haven't done it in, like, a while, but I can lay in bed for 3 days. I don't want to do that. That's not healthy.
No, it's
I
not.
have to get up. I don't have a dad to depend on. My mom can take care of herself and she can help me here and there, but she can't really take care of me. I'm 26. Like, it's on me.
Yeah, girl, even though we both 26, girl, we grown now.
There's no man checking for me. I've never had a man trick on me, so it's not like I'm over here getting.
Girl, you ain't never had a man trick on you? Come with me to the Fountain Blue.
But
we love the Lord.
But
he's still working on me.
You know what? And I also like I believe that like you have to work because even with like my backstory, my dad was very wealthy and he switched on my mom and my mom had to leave him in the dead of the night. So she always told me, she's like, yes, you need to be with a man that can provide. You need to be with a man that has things for himself. But you cannot be financially having nothing. You need to be able to provide for yourself.
And she was right to tell you that.
100%. And I've always kind of kept that in my mind. And so much to the point that like I remember I was having a conversation with a man and I was like, well, I just want to have this and this and this before I get into a relationship. And he was like, but you're a woman. That's not, men don't care about that. Men take you as you are. And I had to work with that and understand that and work on my femininity in regard when I'm with men. But inherently, I'm just a more masculine person when it comes to my work ethic and what I feel like I need to do and accomplish.
You gotta be careful with that. You have to be very careful with that. That's something that I learned, but I learned that because I was dating an older man. So, you know, and I don't like to share this tip, but this is a tip that I personally have experienced in my life. However, you have to be very careful with how you use it. And I always tell, you know, young girls from the ages of like 25, I'm not saying 22, 23, that's not what I'm saying.
Please grow
up
up
I would
first.
tell, please grow up first. Please experience your life.
A little bit.
But
I know you don't want to listen to us, but I promise you,
I promise you we will not say anything
big brain
wrong.
at 21, no.
But I always tell, you know, maybe like the 25, 26-year-olds, date someone who's older because you will learn a lot about relationships. You'll learn a lot about men.
Yeah, you will.
Because I feel like younger men, they're still growing. Like, I feel like a man doesn't really officially grow until after. People say after the age of 35, but I've seen men who are 35 and they're still not grown. So
100%.
I say after maybe about probably like 37, 38. That's when I can say like, okay, you are kind of a little bit established. You got stuff going for you. You know, I would say at one point of someone's life, women, you should date older because you learn something. Like, I'm not saying, I ain't saying it's got to be your forever, but I'm saying get that experience because you're going to learn something.
I feel like there's a threshold though with dating older, right? Like for me,
you got to be careful when you date older.
For me, I don't go more than 10 years. Because I've also noticed with older men, especially past 10 years, they want a younger girl because of how malleable their minds are.
They're easier to control and manipulate. That is true. I won't tell you that's not. It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what, like, I don't want to say that scares me because I try to not have any fears, but you're not about to, like,
let me take back what I said. Be a smart girl. Like, don't just be one of those girls that just be a smart girl before you go out there dating older men. The oldest I've dated was actually 44.
Okay. So,
but here's the thing. Here's the catch. That at the time when I met him, he was 40 and I was 23. So I was fresh out of college. Like I was. But here's the thing, and I tell people all the time, I grew up very, very fast. Like, I had a car at 15. You know, I've been working since I was 16. You know, I've had my own place at like 18. So it was like, this is why I was already kind of out there. Like, I've already had those experiences in life. And I'm sure as well, you know, he knew that as well. And we've had conversations about that. That's why I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of, you know, though I was 23, I was moving like I was damn near 27. So it was like, it was a different dynamic, but I understand for some younger girls, it's not going to be like that. So, as I said, be careful, choose wisely, and assess.
Yeah. One thing I tell people a lot is that I feel like it's okay to have platonic relationships with men. And it's okay to have platonic relationships and then decide you don't want it to be platonic anymore. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, most men who are friends with you, they are attracted to you. So it's like they would be okay with switching that. But for me, I'm not quick to say yes to a date. If I say yes to a date, I really like you already.
I'm picky.
I'm very picky.
I
call myself finicky.
Finicky?
I'm a little finicky.
I like that. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. So, You say platonic. So I would say you can be friends with these people, you can date these people, but don't have sex with these people.
100%.
Because everybody, you're not supposed to, first of all, sex, soul ties, all of that, it's a real thing. And everybody you're not supposed to be laying down with. Like, there's 100%. Some people in your life, I'm going to be real with you, and I tell men this all the time because I'll get some of my guy friends like, ooh, I need to crash your friend. She a model. She need to do this. And I tell them, I said, listen, everybody is not meant for you to be laying down with. Some people are meant for you to build with.
Yes.
Some people are meant for you to grow with. Some people are meant for you to be with. But before you get to that level, you need to see who this person is. Like, I have this thing now where I said my next relationship, I have to make sure that I wanted to be friends with the person first. And I ain't talking about friends for like maybe like, oh, a year or stuff like that. Like, I'm saying like I actually really wanted to get to know this person before I feel comfortable. I won't say when I decide because I don't think it's my decision. But I would say until I feel comfortable, it's like, okay, like maybe this is something that I want to continue an actual relationship with. Obviously, if he's feeling the same. But, you know, that's what I personally would want. And I think that, you know, as women, sometimes we need to take that year and reflect on ourselves.
No, I 100% agree with you. That's something where I think everyone has had ups and downs, and everyone has just like, everyone's sexual history is different. But in the current phase where I am currently, I can't see myself just sleeping with anyone. And that doesn't mean that I'm celibate or that I don't want to be with anyone. It just means that like it's not that easy. It's not that quick.
For me, it's like, well, I'm in a journey.
I have to feel it.
Yeah, you have to feel it. So I'm in a journey, like, looks don't attract me. And I'm that type of person where I don't go off of looks. Like, don't get me wrong, we're in the modeling industry. We get hot guys all the time. But I am more of like, what is in your mind?
See, I need both. Because
like,
I'm such a yapper.
Well, I still need both. I still have to be attracted to you. If you want me to, like, you know, lay down with you, of course. But I'm such a what's in your mind type of girl. So I feel like a man that can't hold a conversation with me, it's just ill. It's just like, you're not for me. So I'm very big on communicate. Hell, I'm a communications major. That's my degree. But I'm so big on communication. And it's like, once I see that you lack that, I'm no longer interested. I put you in a category. I put you in the category as, okay, you're going to stay here. You're probably not going to grow, but you'll stay here. But you won't get to that next level with me. And, you know, I'm just big on that. I'm just really big on that. But women need to be careful in general because men will tell you they want one thing, and girl, you go through that phone, it'll be a whole different other. But that's another conversation for another conversation.
I feel like for me, I'm just big on. I have to feel it. Like I don't know what my type is because like all the guys that I've liked will like look relatively different from each other. I just whenever I meet my person, or I guess the person who is my person in that moment of my life, I always feel it.
Right.
It's like a sense of safety that it's a sense of safety. It's a sense of peace that I don't know how to explain it, but I get that.
Right.
And that's what I lead by. I always lead by my gut. My gut is never wrong.
Ooh,
because
you sound like Olivia Pope. She said she's a fixer, and she said her gut is never wrong. Come on, gladiators.
Never, ever, ever wrong. And I'm telling you, if you don't want to tell me, the universe is going to show me. I will always find out whatever my gut's telling me. So even with like, it can be an intellectual match. It can be a physical match. You can have everything under the sun, but if I don't feel safe with you, I just can't. I can't see myself laying down with you. Like, I've gone through sexual assault. I can't do that to myself. So, and I try to tell that to other girls. Like, I'm really big on, like your womb is a very sacred place. That is you store energy there. Yours, literally, it's essentially like a portal. Some people see it as a portal. You give life out of there. Whatever, and if you believe in soul ties, you're taking in whoever that person is, and then every single person that they've been with before. So I am very careful with who I allow into my energy. And that's also why if I already know that I'm not going to like it, or I'm not going to like you, or there's something where it's like, it's not going to happen, I'm also a person who I like you off rip.
Right.
I don't grow to like. I'm already kind of like, okay, I could mess with this.
You know, I always tell people I have this thing, and I know we got to wrap up in a minute, but I have this thing. I tell people, I said, I know if I want to sleep with you the first 15 minutes of me being around you. I already have that. Like, I tell people this all the time. I know if I want to sleep with you, the first conversation or the first 15 minutes I am around you. I know if I will be interested in taking it to that next level.
I mean, men say, like, within the first 15 minutes, they can tell if they just want to sleep with you, if they would date you, or if they want nothing to do with you. And I feel like I have the same, like, I think we both do. It's quick.
Yeah.
You don't need that much. I feel like you get into messy situations when you start being like, well, maybe, I might. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize, like, there are so many men in my life that I am so grateful for, that do things for me, that put me onto opportunities, that help me with things. And there are some that are platonic, and then there are some that are platonic that don't want to be platonic.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they care about me, and they value our friendship more than what could happen. Because at the end of the day, things do get messy. When you are just messing around with people and you don't fully know who they are, you don't fully know if you like them. And I'm not in the business of leading anyone on.
So here's my thing with that. I want to touch on that. You don't lead them on, but you also be honest with them, and you tell them, listen, you don't use the word, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship. I think you should say, I'm not looking for a relationship with you.
Yes.
And I would never tell someone who's a friend or anything and say, oh, I don't want a relationship, because that's simply not true. I do want a relationship. It's just that I just don't see one with you because I don't think we aligned. Now, do I think you should date? Do I think you should be in a relationship? Yes, just not with me. So I have this thing also, too, where I tell women and I tell men, hold yourself accountable. Don't say you don't want these things and then you're manipulating the person to get things. So that means no sex. That means no flirting. That means no putting yourself in situations where you can be manipulated. You cannot do that, because then you are a manipulative person. And then you do need to be checked for that, because at the end of the day, you did lead that person wrong. You know, you let them on. So,
you know, I think that's where we're going to leave it. Because honestly, yes, you're 100%. I am really big on, you have to be 100% honest. That's why I tell people flat out, I'm like, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to like you. You're not going to make me like you. I either like you right now or I don't.
Right.
And that's the end of it.
And that's the end.
But on that note, my producer is telling me that
he's telling us to wrap up. We've been talking, y'all. We've been getting crunk. We've been spilling this tea.
I could sit here and talk to you for
all day. Like, girl, I'm like, what we doing?
I
know.
Girl,
go get the drinks. Go get the pillows. Girl, we just lay down.
But it's okay, because I'm going to have you on next season again.
But please do. I would love to come. But,
please.
Oh, my gosh. I love the studio. I love the setup. I love what you're doing. And I'm super excited to be here. Get cozy with Josie.
The studio is absolutely beautiful, and I only have Car Visual Studios to thank for that.
Yes.
But until our next episode, I just want to say thank you guys for getting cozy with us for the first episode of Get Cozy with Josie. Am I gonna choke up? Oh my God.
That Get Cozy with Josie is it's such a catch line. Like, it's so cute.
I love it. So cute. I just want to say thank you guys for getting cozy with us. And I want to say thank you to Car Visual Studio for our beautiful set. I want to say thank you to Qveen for being my beautiful guest. What's your social? Drop it right now.
So you guys can follow me on Instagram at It's Official Qveen, and that's Queen with a V because I am victorious. And also you can follow my podcast, which is Rosie Talks Podcast. And yeah, that's it.
I need to come on there.
Girl, you will be on there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have you, but bring your tissues, because we get real over there. Real over there.
You know, I love that. I love that.
Unapologetically black.
And you know what? I am very much unapologetically black myself, so I can't wait to come on here. But you guys be sure to follow and keep up with Get Cozy with Josie at Get Cozy with Josie's Pod, my personal at Josie Lentner, and new episodes dropping every other Wednesday because I'm an astrology girly, and Wednesday is Mercury Day.
Oh my gosh.
Conversation, it's always gonna flow. See you guys next time.